What's up everyone? In this video, I'm putting together a cinematic sequence with the GH5 with music from Artlist. If you're new here, my name is Caleb and I've been doing freelance video production since 2012, but this channel is to help you make your own videos, whether you just started or you've been doing it for a while, whether you use the GH5 or any other camera. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This video is in partnership with Artlist. Artlist is a huge library of high quality royalty-free music for YouTubers, filmmakers, podcasters, really any type of content creators with unlimited downloads, which is yours to use forever, even if you don't resubscribe to their service. The yearly subscription is affordable for content creators, and the Artlist site is easy to navigate to find the perfect song to fit the vibe of your video. Which we all know, music plays a huge part in the overall feel of the video. And by using my link in the description, you can get an extra 2 months free added to your subscription. We'll dive into Artlist here in a few minutes. Let me catch my breath. You're gonna get a lot of this in this video. Love it. You guys are good grass walkers. So obviously one of the first parts about putting together a cinematic sequence with the GH5 is having the story. So in this video, what we're gonna be doing is I've got my friends Laura and Israel here, and we're gonna be putting together just a little hiking adventure, a little sequence of them walking through the grass and standing in front of flowers, that type of thing. So story is first of all. So you need to have that story. Yeah. All right, so another aspect that you want to watch for when putting together a cinematic sequence is the gear that you use. So this is one of the things I debated about using. I kind of went over in my head some of the gear that I wanted to use, but after I came down to it, I wanted to make sure that it was something that anybody that has the GH5 or any camera could really easily put together. So I decided to not go with like using the Atomus Ninja, that type of thing, because I wanted to pretty much strip it down to the basic form almost. So here's some of the gear that I'm using for this particular shoot. All right, so first of all, I obviously have the GH5 body, but I've got it caged up with a top handle because I love using the top handle. It makes it so much easier to hold, and this makes the grip, the hand grip on the side feel a little thicker as well. So I've got it caged up, and I've got a monitor mount, but I'm obviously not using the monitor. Probably in a situation like this, I would use like an Atomus Ninja, but on this particular shoot, I'm not gonna be using that. Then I'm using the Sigma 18-35 with the Metabone Speed Booster, which is really my go-to lens. And I almost, anytime I have this rigged up, I'm pretty much using this Sigma. And then for some scratch audio, I'm using the Deity D3 Pro. And that's just so I have some, audio of the surroundings and get some scratch audio, steps on the path or birds. There's some geese going right now, just getting some of that scratch audio. So let's go with this. On the lens, I'm using the Cinebloom 20% by Moment. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna give like an awesome just glow. And we're losing some sunlight, but it's gonna give a good, just nice glow to the image and kind of tone down that digital look and that sharpness that the Sigma gives. So usually I'm using a Pro Mist at an 1/8, but I wanted to try the Cinebloom 20% on this particular shoot with a variable ND, but like I said, we're losing light, so I probably can take the variable ND off and keep the lens open at probably 1.3. All right, here we go. Go for it. You guys are so good at stepping. All right, so another thing that you want to go through is the settings and making sure you have all your settings set right. And one of the great things about the GH5 that I keep saying is that it's such a great tool for making videos. It's got so many different cinema style features right in camera. So you got the waveform, you got zebra stripes, you got the histogram, you got all those things that you can watch while you're putting together this sequence. So some of the settings that I'm using for this particular video is, if you know me, you know that I shoot about 98% in the natural color profile. So I am shooting this video in the natural color profile. So I'm also going with 4K 60 at 8-bit, 150 megabytes per second. All right, for the natural color profile, here's the settings that I'm using. I'm at -2, -5, 0, -1, and -1. I felt like with that natural color profile and these settings, I usually get some really good color. All right, so we just wrapped up the shoot where we lost sunlight, so I think we're done, especially with the GH5 and low light. We all know that. I wanna thank my friends Laura and Israel for being in this video. So we're gonna take it to editing, and I'm gonna go pick out some music from Artlist. All right, so one of the things to keep in mind while I'm doing all of this is not a full-blown tutorial on how to edit a video. Now I'm gonna go through a few things here, but it's not gonna be an all-out hardcore tutorial on how to edit a video. But if you do want an all-out tutorial on how I edit my videos, let me know down in the comments. All right, so one of the first things I like to do when I go into an edit like this is drop a few clips into the timeline just to get the vibe of the video. Now beforehand, like before shooting, you kind of know what you're going for, but sometimes that can change once you get into the actual edit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop a few clips into the timeline. I'm just gonna go through them real quick just to catch a vibe. So let's go in here and just drop a couple clips in. Like I'm not gonna do any editing. I'm just gonna look through the clip. I mean, you can definitely tell that this is gonna be more of like an earthy type of video. You know, they're in nature. You've got the browns, yellows, greens. They look like they're hiking. And so I definitely want to go with more of like an earthy feel, kind of a folky feel. And one of the things I made sure to do with some of these clips is really take a simplistic, minimalist approach to some of the shots. So I kind of want my music to fit that vibe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Artlist. Now that I have some clips in here, I took a look at them, I kind of scrubbed through them a little bit. Let's go to Artlist and let's find some music. The Artlist website, I feel like, is really easy to navigate. So after you have your subscription and you're logged in, you know, you're gonna come to this home page and you're gonna have some featured artists that you can kind of shuffle through, some new artists that they've added, and they're adding new songs, new artists all the time. So really, you shouldn't run into any type of brick wall whenever you're trying to find new music or new artists. So on this first page, they've got some featured music, and you can sort this music by, you know, staff picks, or you can go by top downloads or some of the newest music that's out there, and you can pick the tempo and any duration. So over here on the left, you have some of your navigation tools. And so if you have like a certain mood that you're going for, you can actually pick the mood of the music that you're looking for. So like wedding, you know, you might want the love category, or uplifting or happy, you know, if you're doing wedding films. But probably the search feature I use the most is the genre. And so this is where I go in here and I can pick ambient, a cinematic feel, or a lot of times I'm in this folk category right here. Another feature I really like about this search is this spotlight feature. And so in here they have different collections that they've put together. And a lot of times what I'll do is if I'm putting scripts together or flows of video, I'll actually put one of these playlists on and I'll just have that play in the background while I'm scripting, especially this lo-fi chill hop. So Artlist starts at $199 a year, but you can upgrade to also add sound effects. And they also have Artgrid, which is stock footage to help enhance your videos. All right, so I'm gonna toss on my headphones and I am going to find a song for my video. All right, so let's go in and check out. And it's such a simple process to check out. You have the song in your cart. This is called Please Cover Me by Giants and Pilgrims. I'm gonna check out, and it's gonna send it right to my email box. And if I don't wanna go to my email to download it, I can just go and click on my library, and it brings me right here to all of my downloads. All right, I'm back in Premiere Pro, and a couple of the things that I'm gonna do right off the bat is first I'm gonna name my sequence, and I'm just gonna name it Nature Walk, because that sounds nice. And then I'm gonna give the sequence more of like a 239 feel. So I'm gonna go into sequence settings, and I'm going to go to custom, and I'm gonna change this to 3840 by let's go with 1609. And that's just gonna give it a little bit different of feels. It's gonna give it that wider feel. So I have my sequence set up how I want it. And now I've got these clips in here. Like, remember I went through to kind of get the vibe. So I've got those clips in there. And I also have my track in here now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag my track in because I wanna edit to that track. So I could probably get rid of those. So here's a few steps that I'm gonna go through. I have my sequence set up, I have everything named, I've got my track in there. And so I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna kind of cut the clips to the track. Now this is a little bit airy of a track, like I said, so it's not like hard beats that I'm gonna cut to. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more sound design with the audio that I got while I was out there. And this is where the Artlist upgrade with the sound effects would come in really handy by going in there and you're able to find some of those nature sound effects. So I got my sequence set up, and so I think what I wanna start with are these hands kind of going through the grass. So I know I just had this one in there, but I'm going to go back here and I'm just gonna get Israel's hand going through the grass. So I think I'm gonna start there and I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna add a little dip to black to this. We're gonna fade it out and then we're gonna let's go to Laura's hand. All right, so remember, like, this is a minimalist feel to this video. So I'm not gonna do any like crazy warp transitions or any fast moving parts to this video. It's slow, it's airy, they're on a nature walk, and we just wanna keep this edit really simple. All right, so I think I have most of the cuts where I want them. Like I said, there is no hard beat to cut to. So what I was doing is kind of cutting to some of the guitar strums. So now I'm just gonna go into some sound design and some color grading, color correcting. I don't know which one I want to do first. Which one should I do first? Let's do the color grading first. Just go into the color panel, and that's gonna bring this up, and I can just go into my scopes and see where everything's at. And now, like I said, I shoot in the natural color profile probably 98% of the time on the GH5, and you saw my settings earlier in the video. And what I like about the natural color profile is that the colors are so good. If you can nail the exposure and white balance, really you're getting great colors right out of the camera. So there's not a lot of color correction that I need to do. Like, for the most part, I pretty much nailed this. Like, a lot of the scopes are basically where I want them to be. So on this clip right here, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm just gonna bring the whites up just a little bit, because I'm just gonna go in here and create a curve and just bring it up a little bit because it's a little darker than where I want it. I usually like my whites kind of around that 90. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through all of these clips and I'm gonna go through and make the color corrections that I need. And probably one of the most fun parts about video editing is the actual color grading process. So here's what I do for that. So make sure you're clicked on the timeline and go down to the new item and click adjustment layer. And that's gonna bring up the settings that you need, the time signature, everything that you need. And so we're gonna take that and we're actually gonna drag it right over top. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and I am going to add a LUT to this adjustment layer. And the LUT that is my go-to LUT pretty much for everything is my YouTube Punch LUT. And I actually have this LUT for free for you to download. So in the description, I've got a link that you can go and download this LUT for yourself. It is created for the GH5 natural color profile, and I'm just gonna hit that so that that YouTube Punch is ready to roll on all these clips. And so right off the bat, you can see the difference. So here it is with the LUT. Here's the LUT off. You might need to go in and adjust the intensity or adjust some of the corrections that you made. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a process. So you have to go through and really fine tune everything after you apply that color grade. All right, so I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna make sure I have all of the levels where I want them, and then I'm gonna move on to the sound design. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm just gonna go through and add some of the ambient noise, some of the, you know, footsteps that I captured while we were actually filming. And I just think everything goes so well together. And like I said, this is a very simple edit. So here's the cinematic GH5 video that we've been working on this whole time. Please cover me, buried in wonder, under the joy, and I will rise up, rise again. Please cover me, buried in hope, under the glory and wonder, and I will rise up, rise again. All right, y'all, thanks so much for watching this video. Please hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified when new videos come out. If you have time, it'd be awesome if you stuck around and maybe watch one of these videos that's popping up on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. All right, here we go. First shot, we'll get it out of the way. Only gets more awkward from there. Okay, here we go.